Speaking of beautiful pictures, Steve calls it Horivert. He's been working on. I'm going to keep my hands away from the screen for you to do this.
Yeah. When I take pictures, you have options of the normal camera, horizontal or vertical. Each one, it's hard to say which serves your purpose. Oop, it won't let me go backwards. Well, we'll go this way. Which ones do you like? Which one serves the purpose you want to show? Do you want to show a flow of a bed? Do you want to various things? So I try to take a lot of pictures both ways, and even something not as stunningly beautiful as something like this is, that this is showing possible winter damage. It's showing design concepts and things like that. And I like the rock wall. So, and with a shot like that, when you're going through the woods, and I like to show where paths fork and do that. But when you take a picture like that, you think it's a forest, but maybe the vertical gives you a little bit more of a sense of height rather than width. And both yet still allow the path to take you, and you're assuming that path's going to merge again up
Sometimes,
there.
Yep.
And so those are the things that I like. Horizontal, vertical, and I tried to keep the same focal length of the lens. I tried to keep the same basic
all the settings,
point, shutter. The exposures change. You could see the shadows aren't as well. The light might have changed, but the shadows aren't as dark in the vertical picture. You could see more of the sky. It's a lighter blue. The little bit you see, there's a little more detail in the cloud in the horizontal. So.
Yeah. Got a little more foreground in the vertical.
Yep. Yeah. And with something like this, the framing of it, I like the V shape complementing the tower, almost framing the tower. And so I like that. And that did, but
that adds in stuff on the left and the right that I don't think really add to the picture.
No, they make it messy. See this, if I would end up cropping it almost the same way. And the change, that's something that you may want something to show how crowded they are, but something where most of the objects are vertical, you're going to end up shooting vertical more often than not. And something like a flower,
Edgeworthia.
Is that what it is?
Edgeworthia, yeah.
I just like the flower.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool. So vertical, horizontal, background, a little bit more distracting there.
Yeah, more twigs in it.
More twigs, more things going on. Change the depth of field a little bit in the picture. There's a lot of bright spots. So in that this is all art, and it's all personal choice. What do you like? But I would always suggest try to remember, if you find an object, a subject that you really like, shoot it both ways. Yep. Yeah.
We're talking about red witch hazels in the chat, and that Ruby Glow and Diane are both reds. The one that Shelley has, and we were trying to figure out, Steve bought as it was tagged Falling Stars, but Falling Stars is a yellow. So there's no way that it was tagged properly.
So we don't know. We don't know. An expert might not that we aren't experts in some instances, but an expert might be able to tell you which one.
Well, I remember Dennis Grote saying that he'd asked the Arboretum in Wisconsin, he asked a retired professor who spent his career working on crab apples, could he tell him which crab apple it is? And he said, if I lived with the plant for a year or so and saw the bloom, saw the fruit, saw the fall color and the form, I might be able to tell you which one it is.
I just thought, I said, well, Shelley's is in bloom. Dawes Arboretum has a huge collection, but Dawes will probably be in bloom 2 weeks before us, and so
Absolutely.
you won't be able
Can't
to
even-
cut it,
yeah,
cut
can't
it,
even
go down
drive
and go
down.
up to it and say which one. So again, vertical, horizontal, the horizontal adds width, the vertical adds height and depth.
It accentuates the line too.
A lot of
Draw it out.
times, if your settings are, when you go vertical, you could lose the foreground being sharp. See how I see it fuzzy,
Yeah.
and that can be distracting. The lack of the foreground fuzziness is there, but everything else is sharp. So you may want to adjust your depth of field or not. I'll try to eliminate that type of thing. I like images that tell a story. That you kind of want to, how can I get to this bridge and then go to this, and then you have options of where you want to go. This way adds even more options, and you realize it's not so easy to get to this bridge.
Yeah.
You actually have to go the other way
Turn around
to get
and
on
go
this
back.
island, turn around and go back. This was at the Japanese garden at Dawes Arboretum in Ohio. Both tell a story. I like them both, actually. I think I like the third bench a little bit better, a little bit more telling the story of the island. This tree is cut off, you get the whole sense of the trees. So every shot is different. And vertical, a vertical object begs to be photographed, and then you have the wide, but not exactly the same. But horizontal, you could try a different approach, looking down rather than that. So that's what I think about when I go out. One of the things that goes through the mind of the photographer.